afternoon. And I'm here to make two presentations. This is the first one, Government of the Republic of Zambia. Basically, it's the structure of the Government of the Republic of Zambia. I'll be as fast as possible so that we don't overrun on time. That will be the structure of my presentation. Three arms of government: provincial, central government, local government structure, and my conclusion. Those are the keywords that are here. Executive. In Zambia, when you say executive, we have three arms of government. So executive keywords simply means this is the part of government that enforces laws and formulates policy. Legislature, when we say legislature in Zambia, it's the body that makes the laws. And judiciary, basically we are talking about the courts. They interpret the laws. Cabinet is a combination of the president, the vice president, and the ministers together. That is cabinet. National Assembly simply means the vice president is meeting with the members of parliament when they go to Parliament House. That is National Assembly. So the National Assembly becomes parliament when the president attends parliament. When the president attends the National Assembly. So parliament is this plus the president. That's parliament. We have city council. The definition of a city council in Zambia, this is where most of the urban centers, what have been classified as urban centers, are city councils. We will give examples when we go to the slides. Municipal council, for example, Kalurushi Municipal Council, means it's located in suburban regions and secondary towns, meaning that it's classified, it's not as urbanized as the city council. Then we have district council. These are more for rural areas. So we have three types of councils in Zambia: city council, municipal council, and district council. So the three arms of government, like I said, the executive is responsible for the daily administration of enforcing the laws. So when you say the executive is responsible for that, all the government ministries are under the executive. So the president is part of the executive, as is the ministries. Then the legislature is responsible for making laws and to amend them. So parliament in Zambia, parliament makes the laws for everyone to follow. For example, I think some of us were dealing with the local content. The local content law was passed in 2025 by the legislature. Then judiciary, these are the courts of law. So their role is to understand the law and interpret the law. So what this means is that the courts are the ones that decide whether you are guilty or not guilty of breaking a law. These are the three arms of government that we have in Zambia. They're called the three arms of government, and they operate independently. This is the structure of the executive. The head of the executive is the president, and below the president is the vice president, the cabinet ministers, and the secretary to the cabinet. Remember, we said the cabinet is made up of the president, the vice president, and the ministers. So there is a secretary to the cabinet who oversees and who's the head of the civil service. Or the composition of the cabinet are the different ministries. These are the various ministries that we have. There are 23 ministries in Zambia at the moment. So this is the composition of executive. Also, under the executive or under the ministries, we have now Finance Department, ZRA. You are familiar with this, Safety, Mining Regulation, Minerals Regulation Commission under the Ministry of Mines. Then we've got Zambia Development Agency, and all these are brought about by acts of the legislature. So the legislature, what is the composition of the legislature? The legislature basically is the National Assembly. So what you see there is the speaker, the deputy speaker, and the clerk. Those are the people that control the proceedings in the National Assembly. So under the national, in that setup, you have all these committees, parliamentary committees, that do different things. For example, we have a committee on agriculture, lands, and natural resources. We have one on finance, trade, and so on and so forth. So they form groups to discuss new laws. If a law has not yet been passed, it's called a bill. When it's being discussed in parliament, it's called a bill. When the president signs into law, it's called an act. So a bill changes into an act. So when you say acts of parliament, it means the president has also signed that proposal into law. So there's a bill and there's an act. The judiciary. The judiciary is basically all the courts, all of them. All the courts of law are under the judiciary. So we have different types of courts in Zambia. These courts, the Supreme Court, the Court of Appeal, the High Court, and some of these are part of the appeal system up to the Supreme Court. The Constitutional Court in Zambia is as high or as supreme as the Supreme Court. So the Constitutional Court handles constitutional matters. So their decision is final. It cannot be appealed. But for these other courts, you have got a system or a hierarchy of appeals. Now, below here, we've also got under the High Court some of these. For example, Industrial Relations Court. This Industrial Relations Court is responsible for handling labor matters. If we have a dispute with the employees through their unions and everything, most likely that case will go to Industrial Relations Court. So it's specialized, and it is because the courts want to be more efficient, or the High Court want to be efficient. So this one is under the High Court. These are subordinate courts below the High Court. This one, the Economic and Financial Crimes Court, this one handles certain crimes, maybe fraud and so on and so forth, and accounted for wealth. So this is the one that handles that. And then the local courts and so on. Also, we have got the family courts that handle things like inheritance, succession disputes. They are handled here. And then we have commercial courts that handle business transactions. And here we've got what is called the Small Claims Court. If someone is owing you money up to 75,000 kwacha, you can take them to court. You don't need a lawyer in this court here. It's just you and the other person. And the decision is final. If someone is not happy, they can appeal. It goes to the High Court. But the decision here is final. Provincial central government. There are two types of government. We will have the central government and the local government. So for now, I'm talking about the central government. The central government at the provincial level is headed by the provincial minister. And below the minister, there's a permanent secretary and the deputy permanent secretary. And below them, we have provincial departments. Department of Fisheries, Department of Lands, Department of so many other departments. So these departments, they are a reflection of those ministries. If you remember, we talked about how many ministers? 23 ministers, meaning there are 23 ministries. So each ministry is represented here at provincial level. Structure-wise, at district level, the highest government official at district level is the DC, district commissioner. Below the district commissioner, we have got, now these here, not everyone reports to the DC, because this structure has been changing. For example, agriculture now, health, and I think education, they report to the local council. So this here has been changing. But at district level, we have all these offices. They may not necessarily report to the DC, but we have them. Then there's what is called DDCC, which is chaired by the DC. And then the DC also has got a say about the policing of the district. So he liaises with the district police officer, commanding officer, or the officer in charge, or IC. He liaises with those, and I think community development. But the roles of the DC, they change. Some things are given to him, some things are taken away from him. For example, when there's a disaster, there's floods and all those resettlement is under the district commissioner's office, not the local authority. Local government, the local government is structured as such. The highest political figure in a local government is the mayor. This mayor is voted for. So in a city council, the highest figure is the mayor. In a municipal council, the highest political figure is a mayor. In a district council, he's called chairperson, council chairperson. So those are the different titles they have, but they are elected. Then under the city council, we have got the town clerk. Same with the municipal council, town clerk. But under the district council, we have council secretary. So those are the different titles. Remember what we said about the definitions. The city, the municipality, and the district council, they are in order of probably size and population and infrastructure in this direction. So this is the most built up area, that is the least built up area. So this one handles mainly rural areas as well, okay? Examples of city councils in Zambia, we have Lusaka, Kitwe, Ndola, Livingstone, and Chipata. Then the municipal councils, one of them is Kalurushi itself, although it's not here, Chingola, and so on and so forth. Then most of the others are district councils. So below that, we have the ward councillors. So the mayors and the ward councillors are voted for. That is the local government. In the central government, almost all of the high-ranking people are just appointed. Central government, the DC is an appointee of the president. In conclusion, this is the structure, the government structure in Zambia. So we have the president, who's the head of state, the vice president, the cabinet and secretary, and we have got 23 ministries, plus the statutory bodies. These statutory bodies I was talking about, ZEMA, PACRA, and so on and so forth, they come here with their own directors. Then we have got provincial administration, the minister, and all the ministries that are represented, like I said. And then we've got DCs, and then we've got local authorities, city councils, municipal councils, and district councils. And then we have the ward councillors plus whatever else that they do there. So that is basically the conclusion. Structure-wise, it's basically the same thing. The president is on top there, vice president, cabinet, secretary of the cabinet, then provincial ministers, DCs, DMMU, Disaster Management Mitigation Unit. This office at district level is under the DC. So these, they handle disasters. When there's a flood, some houses have been broken, and so on and so forth. And then we have the local authorities again, the city council, municipal council is the mayor, district council is the council chairperson. Then the town clerk and council secretary, these are career qualified personnel. There can be lawyers and so on and so forth. And then the ward councillors who are voted for by the people. That's all. Thank you.